So God says to men, he says, I will bless you. Check this out, brothers. This is big. This is big. He says, I will bless you according to how you treat your woman. He says, I will answer your prayers according to how you treat your wife. Because the real test is how you handle power.
There are calls for justice after a woman was shot and killed outside the Spalding County Courthouse. Crystal Evans and her ex-husband, Tom Mallory, were at the courthouse Friday afternoon. They were there for a hearing when Mallory allegedly shot Evans a number of times, killing her.
The courthouse is a sanctuary, a place where paper laws are supposed to offer ironclad protection. For those escaping danger, it's the final stop on a long road to freedom. A place where you can finally exhale, knowing the system has your back. A protective order, a divorce decree. These aren't just legal documents. They're shields, promises that the terror is finally over. We rely on this. We believe in it. Have you ever trusted a piece of paper to save you? Crystal Evans did. On a seemingly ordinary Friday morning, Crystal walked out of the Spalding County Courthouse with a sense of relief, holding a permanent protective order against the man who had tormented her for so long. She felt free. But here's the central question that haunts this case. What happens when the law designed to protect you becomes the very thing that seals your fate? 2 days after her divorce was finalized, 2 days after the courts granted her a permanent protective order, Crystal Evans was shot and killed. She wasn't found in a dark alley or a remote forest. She was killed right here, in the bright light of day, in her car, just yards from the courthouse steps. It's a profound and devastating irony. The one place she should have been safest became the final scene of her life.
Mallory allegedly shot Evans a number of times, killing her. Investigators say he ran from police and eventually shot himself, but he survived. Now we're learning more from Crystal's daughter, who says her mother had a restraining order against her father. Griffin police confirm the couple had a history of domestic violence.
My mom literally called the sheriff department the day before because he was stalking her. She even showed them that the PTO that she was granted for life Wednesday from the divorce, and they did nothing. Had they had someone walked out with her, like, her friend asked, she would still be here.
Griffin police deny that Evans asked for an escort.
This is the story of a system that failed and a woman who fought for her life until the very end. This is the story of Crystal Evans, and it's a testament to the fact that for victims of domestic violence, even legal freedom can be a deadly victory. This is True Crime Footprint. To see how this tragic story unfolds, make sure you're subscribed. Welcome to True Crime Footprint, where we unveil the darkest mysteries and the most terrifying true crime tales. Kindly hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss any of our new stories. Your support keeps these stories alive. To her friends and family, Crystal Evans was a bright light. A kind woman who never met a stranger, a devoted mother to her 2 daughters, Precious and Talon. She was obsessed with her cats and had a productive life working in real estate. Those who knew her described a woman who was vibrant, beautiful, and outgoing. She had a network of close friends and loved ones, a life full of normal routine and simple joys. But for all the light she showed the world, there was a shadow, a profound and private apprehension that no one could see. Crystal's public life was a stark contrast to her internal reality, a reality lived in constant apprehension of one man, her ex-husband, Tom Mallory. This wasn't a secret she could hide forever. Before her death, Crystal made a post on Facebook, a public warning to anyone who would listen. It wasn't a cry for help. It was a plea for accountability. She wrote, "It's sad that I have to walk around, terrified for my life and my children's. I know if something happens to me, Please know who did it. This man has said numerous times he's going to kill me. Crystal wasn't just venting. She was trying to leave evidence. She was trying to do what she felt the system couldn't or wouldn't do for her. She wrote, "I am posting and trying to leave a paper trail. This man is extremely dangerous." She was desperate to leave a paper trail. She was desperate to leave a paper trail because she knew her time was running out. She understood that a record, a clear statement, was her only chance for justice if the worst happened. And the worst was a very real possibility. Authorities would later reveal that Crystal and Tom Mallory had a history, a long, documented history of calls to the police, arrests, and violence. It was a relationship so volatile, so unpredictable, that even the police found it difficult to know who to believe. A relationship that had spiraled into something even more dangerous. But what had happened in the past that made Crystal so certain of her future? Before we continue exploring all that happened, let's hear from Precious Evans, the daughter of Crystal Evans.
She was granted the divorce the Wednesday of September 13th. The reason they were at court September 13th, and this is for some of these men that's in the comments that keeps trying to blame my mom, that my mom was stealing from my dad. We actually were at court that Friday because my dad literally tried to steal almost $50,000 out of my mom's account. And that's what we were at court for criminal charges about that. So again, the day before, you guys, my mom filed she called the law enforcement 2 different times the day before her death. My mom called Griffin Police Department that morning because my dad was stalking her. She literally was at Burlington in Griffin, Georgia, and he was stalking her. So she called the Griffin Police Department. They responded. They did a report. I was with my mom the day before, y'all. My mom was so scared the day before, because she just kept looking over her shoulder because this man just kept stalking her, okay? We got home from shopping that day, you guys, and my dad was even at my house. So we called the sheriff department, to be exact, the Spalding County Sheriff Department. We called them to come out because he, in the divorce as well, that was granted Wednesday, there was a permanent restraining order for life. So he has violated this restraining order on 2 different occasions, and law enforcement didn't do anything. Y'all, actually, Spalding County Sheriff Department, when he responded, he didn't even write a report, y'all. Come to find out, y'all, this man didn't even write a report of her sitting here reporting that this man was stalking her at my house, y'all. The Spalding County Sheriff Department deputy that came out that day didn't even do a report. Do y'all know when he did a report the day the incident happened? Because y'all, the Spalding County Sheriff Department tries to be in contact with me because they're trying to do this little investigation, I guess, to try to make their stuff look good. Actually, Sheriff Dix. So come to find out that deputy didn't even do a report, y'all, like he was supposed to, that day that he responded to my mom. The second call she made to law enforcement that this man was stalking her. So y'all, my mom was literally scared for her life from the day before her death, even up until the time of her death, you guys. My mom was terrified. I actually was with my mom 10 minutes before she took her last breath. I went to court with my mom that day, you guys. We were in the courtroom, and y'all, it was just, when I was in that courtroom, you could just see something wasn't right in his eyes. Something wasn't right in his eyes, y'all. Like, it's like this feeling came over me that I knew something wasn't right with him. Like, he just looked evil. Like, even when I walked in the courtroom, y'all, the way my dad stared at me was like, I ended up just having to act like I was looking at my phone, because he was just staring at me, y'all. Like, he was just staring at me with disgust, literally. So again, you guys, we were at court for this man stealing almost $50,000 out of my mom's account. Like, even Wells Fargo was pressing charges against my dad. So to be exact, the judge that was over that case is Judge Parks in Griffin, Georgia. My dad was actually found guilty on 3 accounts, you guys. So there was a warrant issued out for his arrest. Do you know what this judge told this man? That he could turn himself in Monday night. Mind you, it was Friday, y'all. And it's like, when that judge said that, y'all, it's like something just came over me like, he should lock this man up right then and here. Like, I've never heard of warrants being issued out for somebody and they could turn themselves in at a later time, especially when they're right there in your face. So it was me. I was in the courtroom with my mom, and it was also her best friend that was in the courtroom with her as well. So my mom had another court hearing after for an eviction for one of her houses that she owns. And so, you know, I was trying to wait around for my mom because I told her we were going to walk out together. I'm like, we're walking out together because I just want to make sure you get in your car safe. We're walking out together. I'm a makeup artist, and I had a makeup appointment that I had already kind of pushed back because of this court case, because I wanted to just be there with my mom with this court case. So, like I said, the judge was just kind of taking forever with it, y'all, and I didn't want to push my client back anymore. And then also her best friend had to go get her child out of school. So, y'all, we literally asked these people, can y'all please have someone escort her out? She asked for an escort, y'all. Don't you know, no deputy in that courtroom, in that courthouse, in the courtroom, never walked my mom out, y'all. Never walked her out, never even attempted to walk her out. Mind y'all, I live 5 minutes from the courthouse. I live like right down the street. So her best friend calls me, her other best friend, and she was just asking me how court went. So I was telling her, and she was like, well, your mom is like beeping in now. I'm gonna call you back, Precious. So I'm like, okay, cool. Y'all, when she called me back, like, I'm trying not to cry. Y'all, when she called me back, she was like, Precious, like, your mom is screaming. You need to go back up there, like something is wrong. So she three-way me in, and y'all, I could just hear like people in the background like talking, but I'm like yelling for my mom, like, mama, mama, mama. No, she's not saying nothing. So I hop in my car, y'all. Mind y'all, I had just got home, took off my clothes. I literally just had on my panties. Like, I literally threw on a shirt because I'm just trying to rush back up there just to see like what is wrong. So y'all, I'm in my car, I'm speeding, and I see like police cars racing beside me. So that I'm already knowing like something tragic like literally has happened. So I get up there, y'all, and I remember where my mom's car was, so I parked right there, y'all. They had it taped off. They were like, I was running over there, y'all. Even the people with the gun, they were pointing the guns, like, what are you doing? I'm like, that's my mom, that's my mom. Honestly, what I went through that day, I wouldn't even want my enemy to go through that because, or see something like that. So y'all, I'm trying to get over there to her. Like, they're not letting me over there. Like, they're not letting me over there. So both her best friends rush back up. They're like, Precious, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? Like, I'm like, y'all, like, he shot her. Like, you know, the only thing they're telling me is that she has been shot. Like, she's been shot. That's it. So I ended up, y'all, and like I said, I don't wish this on nobody. Like, that day is so traumatizing, like, seeing my mom, like, laid out on the ground with a white sheet on her. Like, I saw it all. So it's like, for some of y'all be saying the bullshit that y'all are saying in these comments kills me, like, literally. Like, this man constantly stole from her. Like, this wasn't a woman just trying to take what a man has. Like, my mom was literally just tired of this man stealing from her, trying to steal her money, steal her joy. Like, she just wanted out. Like, she just wanted out, literally. And he could not handle that.
For years, Crystal and Tom Mallory's relationship was a series of emergency calls and documented violence. Spalding County Sheriff Daryl Dix would later describe it as unequivocally toxic. The sheriff's office and Griffin police both confirmed a history of domestic violence calls to their home. Tom Mallory had even been arrested before, only to be released on bond, allowing him to return. But even with a record of intervention, the violence continued, often just below the surface. According to the sheriff, deputies often struggled to determine who the aggressor was. He said, "There were times when she claimed he hit her or pulled a gun on her. There were times where he said she got angry, hit him, and shot at him." This legal hurdle meant that despite constant reports, concrete evidence for an arrest was often lacking. After a year of what her daughter Precious called an ugly divorce, Crystal believed she was finally breaking free. On a Wednesday, the legal process was complete. The divorce was final. For Crystal, it was a moment of profound relief. She felt unburdened. Her daughter said she was so happy after her divorce. She felt free. They even talked about planning a party. But for Tom Mallory, the finality of the divorce was an unforgivable act. After the decree was issued, he sent Crystal a chilling text message. 2 words that erased any sense of security she had gained. Not happening. It was a clear and terrifying signal that he refused to accept the law. He refused to let her go. As part of the divorce, Crystal was granted a permanent protective order, a legal shield against Tom Mallory for life. This was her final victory, the document that promised her safety and the peace she desperately wanted. She even showed it to the sheriff's department the day before the shooting, taking a proactive step to ensure they were aware. It seemed, at that moment, that the system had done what it was meant to do. But in a high-stakes domestic violence case like this, with a man determined to exert control, even a legal victory can be a trigger for ultimate violence. Had the legal system finally provided a shield, or had it unknowingly signed her death warrant? The answer came swiftly. On Thursday, just one day after the divorce was final and the protective order was granted, Crystal Evans called the police. She was reporting a new crime. Tom Mallory was stalking her. The morning of Friday, September 13th, Crystal Evans arrived at the Spalding County Courthouse. She was there for a hearing, a legal step directly related to her recently finalized divorce. Crystal had done everything the law asked of her. A warrant had been issued for Tom Mallory, a legal move that should have removed the threat. But in a tragic twist of procedure, the judge did not order Mallory to be taken into custody on the spot. Instead, he was allowed to turn himself in on Monday. That decision, likely made for procedural convenience, created a window, an opportunity that would prove to be devastatingly consequential. After her hearing, Crystal walked out of the courthouse, passing deputies in the lobby. She made her way to her car, a place she should have been completely safe. But as she sat inside her vehicle, Tom Mallory pulled his own car alongside hers. In a brazen act, he opened fire, shooting her multiple times through the passenger window. The sound of gunshots filled the air outside the halls of justice. Deputies responded immediately, but it was too late. Tom Mallory fled the scene in his car. A pursuit began, ending when he inflicted a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the head. He was taken to the hospital, where he survived. Warrants for felony murder were issued, but the damage was already done. In the wake of Crystal's death, her daughter Precious spoke out with conviction, stating that law enforcement failed to protect her mother.
New tonight at 11, we're hearing from the family of a woman shot and killed outside of the Spalding County Courthouse. And tonight, the daughter of Crystal Evans says her mother did not have to die because she believes law enforcement actually dropped the ball because of a history of domestic violence between her mother and the suspect. 11 Alive, Teresa Bowles, live tonight in the newsroom with what we know tonight. Teresa?
Well, Ron, tonight authorities have identified the suspect as Mr. Tom Mallory. Adding to her pain, Precious Evans tells me Mallory is her biological father.
I feel like I don't have nobody.
Precious Evans says she lost both of her parents at the same time.
I don't have nobody to lean on.
She says she watched her comforter, her mother, Crystal Evans, go through an ugly divorce with her father for a year.
She was so happy after her divorce. She felt free. We were even talking about doing a party.
However, throughout that year, she also says she witnessed disturbing behavior. Crystal posts a cry for help on Facebook last year saying, "Please know if something happens to me, Tom Mallory did it."
Even after the divorce, this man literally texted her, "Not happening."
Precious says her mother was at the Spalding County Courthouse for a hearing connected to their separation Friday afternoon.
The judge did issue a warrant. Instead of the judge taking him in right then and there, the judge said that he could turn himself in Monday night.
In a lengthy Facebook post, Sheriff Daryl Dix says Crystal walked out of the courthouse to her car, where Mallory met her, shooting her multiple times from the window. Mallory did not stop for police and eventually shot himself. He's alive, but Evans is not, which Precious believes could have been prevented.
My mom literally called the sheriff department the day before because he was stalking her, and they did nothing. Had they had someone walked out with her, like, her friend asked, she would still be here.
Dix denies this. He says surveillance video shows Crystal never asked for an escort. His office also confirms there have been several domestic violence calls to the Mallory household. Dix says sometimes the violence was mutual and there were no witnesses to identify the aggressor. Dix says, quote, "Do improvements need to be made to the law? Yes, they do. Maybe it wasn't a deputy or my agency that failed. Maybe it was the law itself. And since she can't get her mom back, Precious will honor her life by fighting for justice with no sympathy for her father."
Not once did you offer your condolences, sympathy, or anything for my mom. That post was to clean his face, to clear his name.
Precious maintains that Crystal called the sheriff's department the day before, reporting that Mallory was stalking her and that they did nothing. She also claims a family friend asked a court clerk to arrange an escort for Crystal on the day of the shooting. Precious firmly believes that if an escort had been provided, her mother would still be here. But the Spalding County Sheriff, Daryl Dix, has a different account. He adamantly denies that an escort was ever requested. He claims surveillance video from the lobby shows Crystal walking past deputies without asking for assistance. He maintains his deputies did everything they could, responding to the shooting and trying to save her life. This tragic outcome, this murder just feet from the promise of safety, leaves a chilling question. Precious and her family believe the system failed Crystal on multiple levels, from the judge's decision to the alleged inaction of the police. Sheriff Dix points to the law itself, arguing that his hands were tied. It's a fundamental conflict over where responsibility lies. A victim's belief in the system versus the system's own limitations. Did you catch the moment Crystal's hope turned into her fatal flaw? We'll rewind and look at that tragic mistake later.
If you knew my whole story, you'd be proud of me.
In the hours and days that followed, the shock gave way to a painful and public dispute. Crystal's daughter, Precious Evans, was resolute in her conviction the police failed her mother. She accused Sheriff Dix and his department of inaction, stating plainly that they dropped the ball. In what many perceived as a defensive move, Sheriff Dix took to social media to defend his department. He denied the escort request and claimed the person who started the rumor had admitted it was a lie. He also stated his deputies did everything they could, and that perhaps the law itself was the problem. Precious was furious, publicly calling out the sheriff for trying to clear his name and for failing to offer any sympathy for her family's loss. The sheriff's Facebook post ignited a firestorm. The public reaction was overwhelming and largely sided with Precious. Comments on the post called his statement highly unprofessional, distasteful, and insensitive. Many accused him of victim blaming and questioned the safety of their own community. The profound public grief and outrage reflected a deeper lack of trust in the system's ability to protect those in danger. The raw conflict between a grieving family and an institution trying to defend its procedures became the new face of this tragedy. What happened to Crystal Evans is a devastating and public reminder of the challenges victims face. Her story offers painful, but vital, lessons. For anyone living in a situation where they feel their life is in danger, there are critical steps to take. First, trust your instincts and make a concrete safety plan. That includes having an escape route and a bag with essential items ready to go. A legal victory can be a turning point, but it may also be the most dangerous time. Second, document everything. Crystal knew this, which is why she wrote her Facebook post. Keep a clear record of every threat, every text, and every instance of stalking. And crucially, seek support from multiple organizations and individuals. Do not rely on a single person or a single department. A network of help is the most powerful protection. In the midst of her profound grief, Precious Evans has refused to be silent. She is still seeking justice for her mother's death. She stated her intention to get her mama the justice she deserves, and has no sympathy for the man who took her life. She organized a rally at the very courthouse where her mother was killed, transforming her personal pain into a powerful public plea for accountability and systemic reform. Precious's fight for justice ensures that Crystal's death will not be forgotten. It will serve as a constant, urgent reminder that the laws meant to protect us are only as strong as the system that enforces them. The death of Crystal Evans at the very steps of a courthouse, a place meant for her protection, stands as a profound and tragic irony. Her final days were marked by a triumphant legal victory, a divorce finalized, a permanent protective order granted. Yet, these very acts of liberation appear to have triggered the very violence they were meant to prevent. The conflicting accounts from her grieving family and law enforcement underscore a broader problem, leaving a lingering question. Did the system fail Crystal, or are the laws themselves simply not enough? The answer, as this case shows, is likely a combination of both. Crystal's story is not just a tragic event. It is a powerful lesson. It is a clear and painful example of the constant danger victims of domestic violence face, even when they take all the right legal steps. Her passing has become a rallying cry, a point of focus for a community demanding accountability and reform. Her daughter, Precious, is now a determined advocate, ensuring that her mother's memory serves as a force for change. Through Crystal's case, we see the urgent need for legal systems to evolve, to recognize the escalating risks, and to offer tangible protection that goes beyond the words on a page. Crystal Evans's final fight for freedom ended in a senseless act of violence. But her legacy lives on through the questions her death has raised and the changes her daughter is fighting to create. It is a story that reminds us of the importance of recognizing the signs, of helping those in need, and of pushing for a system that truly protects the vulnerable. What are your thoughts on this tragic case? Do you believe the system failed Crystal Evans, or was this a unique and unpreventable tragedy? Share your perspective in the comments below. And if this story left an impression on you, and you want to see more content that explores the real stories behind the headlines, be sure to like and subscribe to True Crime Footprint to join our community. Our hearts ache for Crystal's family. Words feel inadequate, but please know you are held in deepest sympathy and prayers. May you find strength and comfort in the memories of Crystal. Thank you for watching, for your attention, and for joining us on this journey of reflection. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and above all, stay safe. See you on our next video.